Hello, I'm Mr. Parker and this is question 19 on the OCR Foundation GCSE Paper 2 from June 2013. For other questions on this exam paper, click the link here or look in the video description below. Question 19 says ABC is a triangle with point D on AB and point E on AC. Explain why DE is parallel to BC. Use angle properties to explain your reasons. Before I start this question, I'm just going to talk a little bit about how to describe an angle. So for example, how do we describe this angle here? Well, to get this angle here, we could start at A, we could go down to D, and then across to E, and we would make that angle. So I would call this angle here angle ADE. So when I'm describing these angles later in the problem, if you want to know which angle is which, think about starting at this letter, going to this letter, and then going to this letter. And if you drew that, it would make an angle, and that's the angle we're interested in. We need to explain why side DE, so this side, we are trying to prove is parallel to this side here, BC. Now they look it in the diagram, but we need to show using angle properties why that is so. Before we can do that, we need to find some other angles on the problem. And one we can find quite easily is this one here, because we've got angles in a triangle. So to find this angle, I'm going to add up the ones I know and then subtract it from 180. So I've got 74 plus 48. And if I add them together, remember you could use your calculator if you wanted for these, I'm going to get 122. Then I'm going to do 180, subtract 122, and I'm going to get 58 degrees. So the first thing I'm actually going to write down in the answer space is the angle ADE, remember ADE, equals 58 degrees. I'm going to put in brackets at the side of that. It's because angles in a triangle add up to 180 degrees. So I've stated the value of the angle and I've given a reason as to why that is the value. So now that we know this angle is 58 degrees, notice it's the same as this angle here. So we can say that angle ADE, that's this one here, and angle DBC, that's the one from here, look, are corresponding angles. So when we have parallel lines, if you can take an angle on one of the parallel lines and directly move it without turning it and it will fit perfectly on one of the other parallel lines, those two angles are said to be corresponding. So I've said ADE and DBC are corresponding angles, therefore DE and BC must be parallel. So this question is really important. Use good mathematical communication. They're looking for keywords, so we're looking for the word corresponding angles, and it also makes you look like you know what you're doing if you're describing your angles properly like this. It's also crucial that you've used angle properties, so you've said angles in a triangle add up to 180, which is why you justified this was 58 degrees.